right, so there's no number 2 today. The list of things we have to accomplish is pretty short. Yeah. Get your test back. Is that what you're saying? We'll do that first if you want, since it's on your head.
Oh yeah, how Friday and Thursday?
I think we all got math.
Oh no.
I think I
don't
How it's gonna work is you guys don't have math.
Yeah.
You don't have any class because you're not here.
Okay.
You really want me to?
Oh no.
So here's your test back. But today we will quickly go through our lesson, and then we'll have some time probably to fix mistakes on the tests
Yep.
if we have anything.
I did. I made a.
So we made some goofs. It is okay. We will
I made a bunch of goofs. What did you do?
All right. Can we put that away for right now? I was gonna wait to pass those back, but David asked, so there you
I'm
are.
so sorry.
Today we are talking about unions, intersections, and complements. Now, complements should be relatively familiar to us. Can anyone remember what the complement to a situation is? I find the fact that we call it complement kind of funny.
What?
Because compliment is normally nice, you know what I mean? Yeah, keep going.
Oh, so kind of like
That's all you got.
complimentary, how like one is one and like I can't.
A compliment is the everything else, right? So if I have a bag of Skittles and I want to reach in and get a green one, because obviously the green are the best as long as it's lime and not green apple. Who would have ever made that choice? The complement to that situation is getting a red or a yellow or a blue or a purple. So unions and intersections are our more like new, what, blue? Well, it depends on what kind of Skittles you're eating, I guess. I guess we would have, yes. So what we have here is election day on its way. Right? November is always election day, even if it's not a big election year. There's always some sort of votes taking place. And we have done a survey. Our survey indicated to us that for governor, 40% support the Republican, so we could say 40% are, and 53% support the Democrat, leaving what percent supporting neither? Can I help you, dude? Yeah, 7%, right, would be like undecided or third party, right? They might not support either of those candidates. For Attorney General, 61% of voters support the Republican, 37% support the Democrat, and I think there's a little bit left over that support neither. So, what your task is set up a probability model, whichever you find is best for this situation, that will help us determine the answers to any questions such as, what's the probability a randomly selected voter supports both the Democratic candidate for governor and the Democrat for the Attorney General? Or Republican, Democrat, or Republican, Republican, or Democrat, Republican. Or what's the percent chance that a person is supporting third-party candidates for both? That's what I'm more interested in. And some people will say those are throwaway votes, quote unquote, because the third party never has a chance to win. But of course they won't if you always have that mentality. So that's why normally you see such a small amount of people voting third party. There's this stigma that it's a vote that won't matter. But every vote matters.
It takes away from the others.
Anyone have ideas on what the best model for a situation like this is? We have Attorney General and we have Governor. It's a rectangle. We made that in the air. The area thingy.
Yeah.
The area thingy. So if we make a rectangle to set this up, our important information, 40%, 53%, 60%. I'm going to actually move this down.
Wait, does that mean I can make a rectangle on the board?
I'm going to make a rectangle up here because I'm going to cheat. Well, I just wanted space to write. A lot of space to write. I think I still have a pen somewhere around the school, actually.
Oh, so someone found it.
In the
and
locker
think
bag?
I think they thought it was Mr. Hall, so Mr. Hall probably has your pin. Because they were confused about why there was a pin.
Well, I left it there, but then I was doing a bunch of
They were
different
confused
things.
about why there was a pin on a locker, and I think they took it to Mr. Hall's.
So
That's probably what.
I'll go talk with Mr. Hall, I guess. So the Republican
Or they just took it for themselves.
has 40%. These aren't really. There's no purpose to steal one of these. They just allow me to write on the screen more stuff.
Maybe they just wanted to write on Mr. Hall's board.
53% Democrat. You don't even need a pen to write on the board. You can do it with your fingers. And we'll say other, I guess, because it could be undecided, could be third party. 7%. Now that is for governor, right?
I think so.
So for attorney general, $61 and $37, so a little bit over half. Right, to help our brain be able to see things. And that's Republican, I think? Yeah. Well, surprising, because that really tells us something about the candidates versus just the people. And why do I say that? Why do I say that this Attorney General data compared to
Because if they were just voting for like a Republican, then it'd be like somewhat similar. It's more like the
this? Sorry, go ahead, Sophia.
Yeah, well, like I think like if it was based like more on beliefs, then that the votes would be closer. Like it's a big difference. So it's probably like more like they didn't want to do the other candidate.
Yeah, so if we look at my green data, right, my Attorney General data, that makes it seem like most of the people we surveyed were Republican, right? 61% compared to 37, or they side with the Republicans. But when I look at my governor data, 53 to 40, that's a lot closer, and it's heavier on the Democrat side. So either a lot of people just like this candidate and party doesn't matter, or a lot of people like this candidate and party doesn't matter. You guys need to fill in this table.
okay. You had the
And if you want to write on the board, you can physically come fill it in.
No, I was.
I'm going to go see if Mr. Hall has my pen.
Okay, wait.
Oh, yeah. I'll be right back.
Same way, like, wait, I was blind.
Wait, what happened to the thing?
Why does everyone have to go to the flipping board?
No one does
Wait,
David.
Except those.
Oh, yeah.
They're different.
They're
First
special.
one is 0.
Wait, what?
I'm
Wait,
sorry.
No,
0.2.
even though it's not a whole question.
This one?
Yeah. Actually, I didn't feel that, but M.
Probably
for
use
me.
a highlighter.
Is it the highlighter?
Wait, why is this so close?
Oh, yeah. Why?
No, let's see what I messed
What
up
the
on.
heck, you guys? What the heck?
It's not the nice one. You know? Okay.
What
Well,
the actual?
you know how to do stuff, so.
Yeah, I only messed up on 2.
24.4.
Wait, I only messed up on 2.
Oh, what'd you get?
Not that.
I messed up on 2.
You got a P?
Yeah.
Wait, on your test?
I got a 6 for M.
I messed up on a bunch.
I only messed up on
Wait,
number
I only-
6.
I messed up on like 5
No.
nothing on that.
Okay, I only messed up on number 7 because I thought
I messed up
for
on
some
so
reason
many.
that 7 squared was 28.
Wait, what I don't understand is.
And messed up on a
Oh,
bunch.
Wait,
Yeah, I
wait,
messed up on a bunch and it didn't get an M.
It's A.
Oh.
Wait, David.
Oh,
Wait, David, what did you do?
You put F is full, you got a A.
I must have
That's
switched
that's
over
point
to thinking
two,
all 3 are the
right?
same.
Maybe?
I got
And then
one.
these 2 I got wrong because I'm dumb.
Oh, I got
That
2.
goes
I
right.
got one thing wrong because I put 7 squared as 40.
Good enough.
I just did this. I was up front.
I'm listening to Dad.
No.
He's a dead
Hey.
one.
Hello.
Found it.
Did he have it?
Mhm.
It's
This
It's
0.8.
0.8. Yeah, 0.8. And that one is 19.6.
Now here's what's crazy. Data exactly like this, and I actually have a survey to fill out. Is exactly how they determine advertising money.
That one? One.
It's 1.06.
Because it's going to be half of 2%. Yeah, because it's half of 2%, just over half of 2%.
Oh no. I messed up.
Oh, that's
It's
not.
good enough.
Good enough. No, it's fine.
Oh,
Okay. I don't know why I did the really small one for some reason.
Where did the size of
The
it?
really small
Oh, we
one
need to play Mind Trap too.
What? How? No, it's gonna
That's
be
a
really
game we
big,
haven't
by
played
the way.
in here.
It's gonna be really hard. Oh, that's how you do it? Okay, yeah, I don't know how to do this, so maybe you
I
should.
do that so many times. I don't know how you not observed that that's how we do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah,
know
I
there's
don't
a
know.
drop down menu in one of those. I just didn't know which one was the. Yeah.
So once we have this table filled in, we can answer any of these questions. Isn't it like 0.035 or something like that?
Very low.
small number.
0.014?
I just erased it.
Yeah, it's 0.014, I think.
Yeah.
Are you going to keep making the 0 and then erasing it again?
Probably.
Or it's 0.14. Oh, yeah, because it's already in percent form. So it'd be 0.0014 if it was in decimal form.
No.
Because it'd be 0.02 and 0.07.
Best compound ever.
Go yang.
Woo, yay! Oh, should I write? I should probably write that stuff down.
Close enough.
Now, if we've made our area model relatively correctly,
It should add up to 1.
well, it should look
Oh, add
like
up to
fairly appropriate. So obviously, this 7% could really be narrower, and my 2% would really be narrower.
Yeah, but
in
then
reality,
it's hard to write it.
but then it would be really hard to write, especially up on the smartboard. So then we're able to answer questions.
Oh wait.
Like, what's the problem? I'm going to go back up. What's the probability a randomly selected voter supports both the Democratic candidate for governor and attorney general? So we find Democrat, right about 20%. When we look at that section as being this section meeting this section, and we think back to our vocab words for today, unions, intersections, complements. What do we think this 19.6 region, what word would match with that? Intersection. The intersection, mathematically, when we talk about the intersection of two events, is the one outcome that makes both outcomes happen at the same time. So, if you want the formal definition, and I know it's easier to read if I highlight it. So, take event A being getting a diamond in a deck of cards. Take event B being getting an ace. I can get both of those things independently and not get the other one. Right? I can get an ace, that's not a diamond. I can get a diamond, that's not an ace. But the ace that is a diamond, the thing that meets condition A and condition B, that's the intersection. Now, when we write this mathematically, the symbol for that, and this is why I'm actually going to write this on the board, the symbol for intersection is a weird arch thing.
So it's like an upside down view.
Well, kind of, because we'll get to there. This is the intersection.
Even though that looks more.
Yeah, it kind of looks like an in
Yeah.
for
Oh,
the
wow.
intersection.
Okay.
Also,
Good
the other visual is a bucket that's been dumped out. The intersection will have less options than A or B had on their own. So when you do the intersection, you get rid of everything except for one thing, that is both the A and the B happening.
So it's not supposed to look like a horseshoe?
So up here, right, all of this is like our event A happening, right? Democrat getting the governor spot. All of this is event B happening, a Democrat getting the attorney general spot. But this little group dumped out all of the extraneous things we don't want. Conversely, the union of two events, and we're going to go ahead and keep over teaching right now. The union,
Okay.
well, we might as well get the vocab down.
We might as well, I guess.
What symbol do you think I used?
A U, because that would make sense.
Oh, you, okay. We're not going there. Okay.
We're not going where?
I thought you were going to say it sound like this.
Oh yeah, we're going there. The union, even though it's not a U, please do not put the tail on it. It's not a U. This is a mathematical symbol. The union.
Oh wait, that's how I write my capital.
But also, the union takes everything from A and everything from B and carries it nicely in this little bucket that we have.
Okay.
So, the union of A, B here would be any of these boxes and any of these boxes. So we would have to add all of those up, and that question, that statement would just be like, hey, what's the chance a Democrat wins something? Right? Democrat won something, Democrat won something, Democrat won something, Democrat won something. Democrats won both things. But if all we cared about is what are the chances that a Democrat gets something here, those are all of those boxes. And that's a union.
Wow.
So, think of it like this. When you go to order a pizza. Me? I adore you too. No, what? Stop. I don't know. Oh, the other thing is if I write with the ink that is just the screen ink layer, I realize it doesn't show up in the video. So that's the other reason why I've been putting everything into Smartboard.
Oh, so you can watch the video and it just looked like you'd be insane?
Yes, it was like, you could see me drawing on the board, like from the little webcam, but you couldn't. Am I recording? I am recording. Is that, oh, it didn't look like it was on. So, when we go to order pizza, right, my wife and I normally once every couple weeks I can convince her to let me order pizza for us. So, there's your normal red sauce, right? There's normally some sort of Alfredo sauce, at least if you're ordering from Domino's like I am. There is a different white sauce that is actually like a Parmesan, and it's not very good. There's a barbecue sauce, and then you could go no sauce, right? Like you don't have to. Some people do no sauce on their pizza. Then the toppings. Think about all the different options, right? Like pepperoni, sausage, mushrooms, onions, jalapenos, like all of these things. The one pizza that you want. Is that the union or the intersection?
That would be the intersection.
It's the intersection, right? The pizza that I want is the Alfredo pizza with sausage, right? That's what I want. But if somebody said, oh yeah, just get me a pizza with Alfredo. Or just get me a pizza with sausage on it. That's any of these options, any of these options. And some of those might not be what you want, right? So the union has a ton of things in it. The intersection has very little. Yes. In this case, yeah.
But there's also.
But
does that mean that you just have sausage and no cheese?
What the heck?
Right, then we could pepperoni and sausage, pepperoni and mutton. If we wanted to make it all like be able to table the whole thing, you could have multiple toppings. You would just have to create those iterations. Does that make sense? If we're trying to area model with it. Now we could tree diagram, and who knows if that would work better.
No. Can we not?
You guys really want to, you're right? That's what I'm hearing. You're all excited about this.
Yeah, so excited.
All right, Darren's a Democrat. He's really hoping a Democrat will win at least one of those options. Go back to your table. What's the chance a Democrat wins something? Let's compare this. Because we knew the probability that a Democrat wins both, right, was about 19% that a Democrat wins both. What's the chance one of them wins? And for the record, I have no political bias in this space because I am a union worker and I can't.
70.12.
I technically cannot really talk politics while I'm at work.
Really?
I can teach like this, but I can't, give a bias.
Yeah, about
70%
Yeah.
that a Democrat wins something. Now let's compare that. What's the chance that a Republican wins something?
way more than 70%.
Oh, and
Nope, never mind.
Wait, hold on. Let's go back. So you said 70% that a Democrat wins something. What is the 30% then?
Democrat doesn't win.
That a Democrat doesn't win anything. So, so it's Republican or other, right? So it's not just the Republican wins everything.
So it's 76% that Republican wins?
So technically, if we just look by the numbers, the Republicans have a better chance in this state, right? Wherever this data came from, there's a 76% chance that the Republicans will win something. What's the chance the Republicans win both?
24.4.
Yeah, 24. So they have a better chance of winning both, and they have a better chance of
I feel
getting
like
something.
most likely what would happen is it'd be a Democrat and a Republican, but
It depends, yeah.
it depends.
So, our union of two events. Are we comfortable on the notation of the kind of U versus the kind of N? There's probably actual names for those things. And are we comfortable with the difference between what they are?
Yes?
The intersection is both things have to happen. The union is either thing happens, and it includes. So wait, can anyone anticipate a problem with this? Because Viola, or Voila, if you want to pronounce her name in a cooler manner, says, I shaded all of the outcomes for a voter preferring a Republican general and all the outcomes for a voter preferring a Democratic attorney general, but I noticed there were outcomes I shaded twice.
Wow.
Anyone know what this is called? There's a mathematical name for when we shade something twice, use it twice, but don't want to actually use it twice.
Overlapping.
Ooh, close. Over. Starts with a C.
Intersecting.
Combining,
over caring.
Overconnecting.
Over caring.
continuing,
Over connection.
Over cats. Please put this in your notes.
Over capping.
I don't know.
over
Courage.
hooray.
Cow. Over cow.
No. Over counting.
Oh.
Okay, I don't know about that.
Over counting
It's an overcalculation.
is what happens when we use a region twice. So when we use, wow, I need to get a not as thick marker. Using or adding, that's what this ugly word is. Using or adding a region twice. I did. Will mess up our data. Because if I'm manually going through and saying, here's the chance of a Democratic Attorney General, here's the chance of a Democratic Republic or a Democratic governor, and I just add those things together, I've got too much.
Oh, I think we did something like this at one point.
Yeah. So if we go back to our table and we think about doing this, if we add up all the probabilities of a Democratic governor, right? 32 plus 20 plus 1, essentially. And then we add up all the Democratic attorney generals. I forget what this was, 14 or something like that. Yeah, 14 plus 20 plus 2.5. I added 20 twice, right? So if we go, we're doing this through addition, what Voila figured out was we need to, we need to subtract away the region that was both. What did we call that region that was both? The intersection. So the mathematics of how we find a union A union B. Can anyone formalize it?
A plus B. Probability of A plus B. A plus B. Oh, okay. Minus A. A plus
And we just say A intersection B, or the intersection of A and B.
A no. Yay.
Well, isn't this exciting?
Wow. Right, 7.
Math. I wrote that down. Intersections and unions. Another
When
thing
did
that we're gonna have
math
to somehow
turn
try to
into
change
just
it.
like
My
a
brain
bunch
is so
of
cold.
letters?
Yeah, there's not a single.
You can blame algebra for part of that.
Who the heck is
Algebra?
He invented algebra. No joke.
Go back in time. Don't do that.
I
Go back in time.
There's not a single number in that entire equation. What the heck?
watch. No joke. I don't make this stuff up.
I'm sorry, but who has a last name Algebra?
Sorry, I never get his last name right. Easme.
Al-Khwarizmi.
But he's known as the modern father of algebra. Essentially, he formalized a lot of these proofs, or like formalized a lot of the math we use today, saying like, oh yeah, let x be a variable that we don't know and things like that. So if you want to know, there you go.
Al-Khwarizmi.
Ask questions, you get answers.
Then why?
So that union, right? Voila, figures out, well, this is just a fancy way of saying or. Right? Because if we're talking about what's the chance a Democrat wins governor, union, a Democrat wins attorney general, that's just or. Because the intersection would be what word? The and. Guys, all we're doing here is formalizing or versus and. And is the intersection. Or is the union. So to find the or, we add the two and take away the and. Right? So that is what Voila has formalized up here. To find the or, we add the two probabilities that we're looking at and subtract the and.
Add the or, subtract the and.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to put the p's here, but I think you guys understood I was talking about the p. So the probability of. So if you'd like to go ahead and add those p's in, that would be the appropriate way to write that.
Yeah.
Who what?
No, you did put that piece.
Ha 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 ha. When she finishes her problem, she should say voila.
Yeah. That's probably why she's named that.
Wow.
So, kind of like my pizza problem. And my pizza problem is that I can't eat pizza every day. But that is my pizza problem. Popular restaurant in the mall has conducted marketing research on 4 new salads it's considering putting on the menu. Percentage of study participants in various age categories and their salad preferences are shown below.
Oh, it's salad. I thought it was talking about pizza, and I was a little
I thought I was talking about chicken.
That's similar.
Oh.
Wow, so a lot of
I
people
thought
like
you said,
barbecue chicken.
like,
Of course they do.
People who participate in the survey, I'm down at A by the way, and the study will be randomly selected for a face-to-face interview. What is the probability the marketing department will randomly select someone who is 55 or older and prefers barbecue chicken?
But this is intersection.
This is intersection.
Only there's multiple because it's 55 or older.
Well,
So
but
you
the
gotta-
or older, yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, there's more.
So it is an intersection, but it's not just one box.
There's 3 intersections.
So take a moment with this. You can copy down the table if you want. You don't have to. You could just do the math, but you probably want to write something out.
Oh, wait, what?
Hold on. So again, if you would like to bring a book to class,
When we're in high school, we're gonna look back on this and laugh.
why why, because this class is so informal.
No,
Yep.
no, it's just that we're gonna be learning something probably like harder from probably.
Well, it's not probably.
Actually, one of my previous Math 2 kids reached out to me the other day and said like, hey, now that I'm up here in Math 3, I realize how much over teaching you did. I know a bunch of the stuff my teacher's trying to teach me.
Oh no.
Like, because I go there. Like, okay, we're right here. Why not go one more step and talk about this thing that you'll learn about next year? And we just do that through the year. So, barbecue chicken, 50 or older. I need to look at kaboom, kaboom, kaboom.
I should probably use my calculator.
0.6, 0.08, 8, 16.
There's a 4.8%.
Zero. Yeah, 4.8.
There's a 3.6% chance for that, and a 3% chance for that looks like 30%.
Yeah.
Sweeping.
Ovo. 3 ovos. Ovo. Get your ovo today.
Now, if he just asks, what's the chance our face-to-face sit-down involves someone who prefers barbecue chicken or someone who is 55?
I thought it was and.
No, but then if he changes his question to just, if we want to just look at what's the probability they like barbecue chicken salad or are 55 or older, especially if they leave it that vague, like that open, that would now involve all of this into there, right? That's kind of a cool color change. And then all of this,
That actually looks pretty cool.
but that's not the question they're asking. Right? The next question they ask us after we add up those, because I like discussing things and showing the visuals.
Sharing.
Yes, if
If
you
it was or, it would be like 67.6.
67%.
A lot.
Yeah.
Nice.
I just want to talk about
So then B, I'm trying to give you guys a little bit of time to at least start your homework. B talks about, is it an intersection or a union? I think we're pretty comfortable with that. Calculate the probability of 55 or older or barbecue chicken. And that's pretty much good for me. Complement is the everything else. Right? So please make sure that you are comfortable with the complement of an event. So it is the set of outcomes that are not what you're looking for. So if you want a diamond.
So the complement is anything that is not.
Yeah, it's the not. But in math, we don't just say it's the not, because when we use it like for angles, the complement is the everything else, right? Like the what we need to finish this. Now, in probability, the everything else is always getting to what? 100, right? 100%. In angles, the complement situation changes. It might be trying to get to 90, might be trying to get to 180, might be trying to get to a whole 360, but we still call it the complement.
Oh, I thought you were talking.
Any questions?
Is there a specific like symbol for the complement?
I don't think so, actually. People would just say like the complement of. Yeah, so you guys should start your homework.
Oh, you can help me with my mastery.
That, if
I
you have
realized-
mastery revisions.
I realized I put SSS when
Oh.
it was supposed to be AAA.
Like a power
A
C
to the power
symbol.
of C.
All objects that do not belong to the set A. Now that's for set notations. Sometimes you're not doing set mathematics, you're doing like other. But most of what we do, you can use set notation for.
Oh boy.
I don't like that they sometimes use the prime. I dislike that notation.
I feel like that. No.
Yeah, that is confusing. Alright, I